Kidogo kabla sijasoma, niko na message kutoka kwa Mheshimiwa Gideon Moi. Amenituma na pole kwa kuchelewa. Walikuwa na wedding ya kijana yake Mheshimiwa Musalia, najua, na hangeweza kufika, but he regretted kabisa kwa sababu mama alikuwa karibu sana kwa familia yote ya mzee Moi. Kabla sijasoma, mimi natoa rambirambi zangu na za familia yangu na wale watu ambao niliwa represent zamani kutoka Mount Elgon, na sema poleni sana sana kwa niaba yao. Mimi mwenyewe nilipokuwa kwa serikali kama naibu ya waziri, tulikuwa uhusiana sana na Mrs. Maloba, Judith. Najua sangina kupata mzee ilikuwa ngumu sana, na kila mtu alikuwa na njia yake ya kuona ama kuzungumza na mzee. Mimi nikapata njia. Mama alikuwa very polite person. Nikapata njia ya kupitia, nilikuwa na watu wawili, kama si yeye ni Linjiru. Sasa kila wakati nampigia, namuuliza mzee muzaka ziko namna gani, anasema usipige leo. Sasa nikawacha, so nikipiga anasema ngoja kidogo, nikipata mzee nasema basi. Iko siku moja nilikuwa naendeza gari, alafu nikampigia mama, nikasema nataka ongea na mzee, nikasema hello, akasema ngoja. Hata 2 seconds ya kupita mimi nasikia tu yes, na nilikuwa naendeza karibu niende kwa roundabout, nilikuwa na mambo ya kueleza mzee, nikasahau. Nikaenda nikapark gari, baada ya 1 hour nikapigia Mrs. Maloba, akasema basi ulimpata mzee, ulimaliza? Sema hakuna kitu tuliongea. Na kwa sababu huku ni, you did not prepare me. That is how she was. She was very kind, and I worked very closely with her. Ningependa kusoma rambirambi ya Mheshimiwa Gideon pia, ambaye ni kwa niaba ya familia hayati mzee Moi. And I'll read. Today, I join in celebrating the remarkable life and honoring the cherished memories of Mama Judith Maloba, the long service personal secretary to our father and beloved President Daniel Arap Moi. I had the privilege of knowing Mama Maloba. Over the years, our interactions went beyond duties. She was the ever-smiling, warm, and gracious getaway to Mzee, a strict yet compassionate administrator, and the faithful guardian of his legacy. To serve Mzee was no ordinary task. It demanded unwavering discipline, steadfast dedication, and uncompromising commitment to excellence. Only the best could endure. Yet Mama Judith not only endured but thrived, serving with grace, meticulous attention, and an enduring charm that endeared her to many. Beyond her professional role, Mama Judith was a pillar in her community, touching lives through her selfless service and generosity. Her passing reminds us that life is in God's hands, and in all things, even in sorrow, we give thanks. Today we thank the Almighty for the gift of her life. Like all of us, she was not perfect, yet through her journey, we witness the beauty of God's enduring grace. On behalf of KANU, don't forget he's the chairman of the Chama ya Baba na Mama, of which I am still a member, faithful member, and we hope to clinch the seat in these coming elections. On behalf of KANU, on my own household and the entire Moi family, I extend our deepest condolences to her loved ones. We stand with you in this moment of grief and pray that you find strength in God's promise, as written in Romans chapter 14, verse 8. It says, if we live for the Lord. And if we die for the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord. May Mama's soul rest in eternal peace. Amen.
Thank you very much. Asante sana wewe. Unajua watu wa KANU saa nyingine wanasahau hata sisi wote ni life members wa KANU. Unajua ukishakuwa life member ni kusema mpaka ukufe. Sasa hii ingine tunaingianga tu kwa kona, lakini sisi wote ni life members. Kiptume umesikia? Sisi wote ni life members wa KANU. Hii ingine watu hawakuingi life member. Kwa hivyo don't worry, we are there. Sasa tutachukua nafasi hii niite AG, former AG, aje naye pia atoe rambirambi lake. Unajua AG bibi yake na Judy ni madada. Ichano bwana. Wala wanu kama siekera. Sialo siekera lero bwana. Sialo siekera sitinyu.
Thank you, General of Jeshi ya Musalia. The family of Judith Mwaiti Maloba. Watu wa Trans-Nzoia, watu wa Maloba, watu wa Ikolomani ambao wako hapa, my fellow retired generals wako wengi. Let me not mention your names, we are many, but as General Sumbeo said, I am the A general. We're getting left and no, I don't know what, but I'm the A general. I'm in a sense lost for words. Judith was a great lady, and the fact that all these people who have retired and who affected the history of this country during the Nyayo period to the early days of Kibaki, the fact that they have all come and they are all Wazes, and when you are a Muzee you don't want to travel very much. They have come all the way from Mombasa and many other areas, is testimony to the great person we are saying the final goodbye today. You may wonder, the reason why I was hesitating to come here was that I did not know whether I belong to this group or whether I belong to the family. So I was waiting for the family to speak and then I slip in. But because my dear friend Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, is here, and as a busy man he may go, I would also want him to hear my voice before he goes. So I've agreed to speak here. I knew Judith way back in the early 1970. Around that time, I felt that I was now man enough to get married, and I identified a lady, and my father formed a committee to go to Idaho Ikolomani to discuss a dowry for the lady I was interested in early in 1970. The team went to Idaho, and the chairperson who had been nominated by the father of the lady I was interested in was one Shadrach Busega. He's the one who chaired my wife-to-be side, and Philip Masinde chaired my side. I then inquired who. I knew he was working in the office of the president, but I wanted to know a little bit more. But what struck me about him was his sense of humor. He had a great sense of humor, and he made me, who was a bit trembling, feel very much at ease. Just like Lee Njiru makes everybody at ease. And I can say, Lee Njiru, that your sense of humor has not left you. It is still with you. Now, Shadrach Busega was the father of Judith. And they were not only very closely related, they were like brothers, but they were very close friends. And because of that, I got married. They came to my wedding, all of them. Some of them who are facing me here now were small, were turtles playing around. And I can also tell you that I went to the wedding of Judith, I believe on 8th of May, 4 days after her 26th birthday. I was there and I witnessed that wedding. And of course, through family gatherings and so on, I have come to know her, first of all, in the social family setting. And I can tell you that in the social family setting, Judith was a leader, very dependable. And you could see that if anybody had an issue, she was the first person you thought of going to consult for advice. Later on, as you know, Judith worked for, as has been stated here by many, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. During the period I was the Attorney General of the Republic. And it may be no accident that he served for a very long time as secretary to Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. And maybe through her, I managed also to serve a very long time, because there was somebody whom I could contact at any time I wanted to see the president, somebody I could contact at any time whether the atmosphere was right for me to go and see the president. But after knowing how the president is, I would then telephone the State House controller and make an appointment. And it was always there. Except on 1 or 2 occasions, on purely family matters, my sisters-in-law, if there are any, here I can't see properly these days. Siji Eda iko wapi? Yeah, iko hapo. Any of your other sisters? Eda is my sister-in-law and the others who have passed on, and whom we are asking Judith to go and greet up there. There are about 3 or 4 sisters who have passed on. We are asking her to go and greet them. They wanted to see the president on some family issue. And I did not want to go through the State House controller, or I did not want to use my position as Attorney General. So Judy became very handy on that occasion, and she made an appointment, and I took all my 5 sisters-in-law and brother-in-law to go and see the president. That was Judy. We are really, really going to miss her. As everybody has said, Judy was not only a loving wife, she was an extremely loving mother, concerned very much with the welfare of each and every person, particularly the children. Charles is here, is now staring at me. Charles will remember that during those days I used to come to Geneva. I would stay there for 2 or 3 months. You are also there working at the embassy. And you remember that on each occasion, I would come to you with messages from Cyril and Judith, or from Judith alone, or from Cyril alone. And both of them, Cyril and Judith, will tell me, Omanye, gochitanga Geneva, Charles Ario. The Charles no mwana uo. In other words, Charles is also your son. Now go and tell Charles 1, 2, 3, and 4 things. And I would come and convey that message. And you will react, of course. And I will tell him that the Charles Abolanga 1, 2, 3, and 4 things. What it was will remain a secret between me and Charles and Cyril and Judith. But it showed me that he was very much concerned with each and every one of you. Cyril himself, of course, as Mzee Gumo has stated, was very meticulous in the way he dressed. He was very disciplined. He was a gentleman of the highest order. And he used to visit me from time to time, and he had a particular drink that he liked. And when I opened a bottle of that drink, if he left, it meant, if you opened a bottle, it meant that that was his bottle. And if he drank just 1 or 2 things and left, we would mark which level it has reached, and I would keep it for him for the next visit. That's how very, very close we were with the families and so on. We are going to miss Judith. Really miss him as a family and as a friend and somebody you could really look to for advice. I will just finalize by saying the advice she gave me. Now about myself. Judith, about 5, 6 years ago, she gave me some advice which she repeated recently. She said, I'm now in Kitale, I've built, and farming is very, very good. You have a plot in Kitale. Why are you not putting up a structure in your plot so that you can also be coming, now that you are retired, be coming and staying and farming in Kitale? I want to assure you, Judith, I'm now following that advice very closely, ably advised by Wazee wa Trans-Nzoia, who are also farmers. like Gomo here has advised me on it, and so on. So Judith, I'll follow your advice. But thank you, Judith, for having been a mentor, for having been an inspiration, for having served the people, I would say, of Kenya as a whole. May the Almighty God rest your soul in eternal peace and give the children particularly strength, comfort during this period of grief, and may they now, both of them, take care of your interest from heaven. And you know, when they take care of your interest from heaven, it's very powerful. So be also grateful that they are up there. One thing, I know Mzee Gumo, on behalf of Banyala Wazes, has advised you kidogo. Mine is just to tell you that do not do anything that you think your father and mother would not like. Just that. Behave as much as you do everything else, but not what your father and mother would not like. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the former AG. What he did say, no, you know, many people don't understand that. Lakini ukisema former, kila mtu anajua, si ndio? One thing he did say is that when he was AG, that's the only time that Western had the highest number of judges. He did a good job. Kwa hivyo sitaki kuchukua muda mrefu. Father anasema karibu kwenda. Sasa nitachukua nafasi hii kukaribisha Mheshimiwa Mudavadi, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, aje naye atoe rambirambi zake. Mheshimiwa, karibu. Asante.
Asante Gumo. Sijui kama nasikika. Familia ya Madam Judy Mwaisi Maloba wakiongozwa na kijana yake mkubwa Charles na familia yote, na pia the distinguished men and women in this gathering who offered very honorable service to the public of Kenya and to the President who are here present, pia na watambua. Sitaongea kwa muda mrefu kwa sababu najua kanisa imetupatia dalili kwamba saa zao zimefika. Kwa hivyo ujumbe wangu wa kwanza ni kusema kwamba nimekuja pia kwa niaba ya Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto, ambaye pia alimfahamu Judy. Kwa hivyo kwa jamii niko na rambirambi yake. Amenituma na ujumbe wa usaidizi kwa familia wa shilingi milioni 1 ambayo tutapeana kwenu ili isaidie kwa mambo ya msiba. Na yeye pia alijua sana marehemu na anamtakia nyinyi kama jamii baraka za Mwenyezi Mungu mkiendelea mbele. Jambo langu la pili ni kutoa rambirambi zangu binafsi na za familia. Pia katika kwa familia yetu ya Mudavadi tulijuana sana naye, kuanzia kwa wazazi mpaka kwa sisi ambao tuko na isitoshe mamangu ambaye alinizaa alitoka kwa jamii ya Judy. Kwa hivyo niko hapa pia na hiyo kofia, na ukiona hiyo jina Judy Maloba Mwaitsi, kwa wale ambao hawajui Kiluya vizuri, Mwaitsi is a shepherd, yule ambaye anachunga the herd. So in a way, when you listen to the description they have given about her life, she was truly a shepherd, and for that we honor her. Now let me say only two very brief things. A country thrives when the institutions that give guidance are respected, are nurtured, and are protected. And the most critical institution in our constitution is the presidency. Now, there are many ways to protect and guard the presidency. You can do it in a specialized way, the way our security people do. You can also do it by being a dedicated public servant. You can also do it by maintaining dignity and decorum to that office. Madam Judy worked with dignity, with respect, and in her own way, she protected and guarded the presidency. You must ask yourself and remember, what do we see today? What do we see in our society today? Do we see people who are ready to protect and guard the institutions the way she did? So my message to Kenyans here is that don't destroy your institutions. Because, as I said somewhere the other day, in fact on Labor Day, I said that the biggest threat to any nation is not necessarily terrorism or gangsters. The biggest threat to any nation is when critical institutions of that nation are dismantled or are undermined so that they don't function. That is the biggest threat to any nation. Judy protected not just the presidency, but she protected this nation. Let us give her that honor. Let it be a lesson for many of us who want to move forward. The final thing, maybe the family spoke about it, but I was touched because I work with a brother. Joe Busiega is my chief of staff in the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. I think somewhere I read that she is in the panel that was working on the beatification of the late Cardinal Otunga to become a saint. So you must ask yourself, if an individual can be identified by the Catholic Church to be part of that very delicate and honorable function, then that person is truly extraordinary in her demeanor, in her character, in her ways. So again, that is a measure of respect. La mwisho, to Kenyans, let us be united. Let us not encourage a culture of lies and believing in lies and talking lies and eating lies and sleeping lies and waking up lies. Yani vandu vakuoneka ni uveshi vuza badumura vuza uveshi vuridiko. Let us be truthful. It is so important to be truthful. And I'll give an example because today I'm honored to be in a Catholic church. The other day, we went with the president. He flew from China where he was having a state visit. And he flew directly from Beijing to make it to the funeral mass service of the late Pope Francis. And I was there. And it was in broad daylight, the way it is today, as we sit here. A very solemn moment, very dignified moment, very honorable. This is the symbol of the Catholic Church, being graciously respected by the entire world. Over 50 heads of state, 10 monarchs, I don't know, 170 heads of government coming there to respect him. And it was so dignified, with a lot of honor. And the Catholics had organized themselves with extremely elaborate protocols. How they receive the head of state. Each head of state was assigned a bishop. They receive them, they guide them up to where they sit. And it was 1 + 5, so that you don't crowd the place. So it was so orderly, just the way I know the Catholic Church to be orderly. It was very orderly. Now, unfortunately, some very senior politicians in Kenya, just a few days ago, very senior, actually started like that one, saying that candles were being given to the president, and the candle of President Ruto went off. Man in a suit. And I really said, kumbe clothes can really camouflage somebody who has a lot of problems. Because it was in broad daylight. Secondly, how on earth would you be lighting candles when there are all these heads of state? That would even be a security risk. For you to be there lighting candles and giving would you even be allowed? So it struck me, and I said, we have degenerated to the lowest level, particularly as leaders. To go and stand in a church and over a very solemn moment. So, what was he looking for? What are we looking for in this country? Where do we want to go? We should not be a country that thrives on lies. And when I was saying let us respect institutions, another critical institution is the church, where we are. So, let us also protect the church from these kind of games and lie there. But do not lie in front of God's people, and more so when you have very solemn moments like that one. So, Judy, we bid you farewell. May your soul rest in eternal peace. Give you a comfort zone before the Lord's house. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, our PCS, for your very kind words. It's now time for the family, and I'll start with the brothers. That is Agri Shivaji to come and to recognize the presence of the ACC president, our ACC, our DCC, our senior Inspector General of Police, Opicho, our DIG of Police, Masengeli, Chairman Public Service Commission, Ambassador Mushiri, and also our former CS, Madam Nakumicha. Thank you so much for coming.
Praise God. Praise God again. Thank you, the Catholic Church, distinguished guests, family, and fellow mourners. Good afternoon. As I stand here as Judy's brother, it's a very difficult time. I'll start from maybe what I would have finished with so that I don't miss it, since we don't have much time. I would say Judy lived a very good life, all her life. I'm the one who comes after Judy. We have about a 2-year separation, so I would have a good idea. Maybe 2 or so of us here are the ones who Rose and Shadrach Busiega tried their best to give the children the best life they could. And when you look at Judy's life, Judy lived a very good life. When we were children, close to before independence, a few years before independence. And when I can remember, my father was driving. Those days, very few people drove. And after a short while, we moved to was mainly European area. And that's how we continued with life. We continued with life until where Judy went to Secretarial College. Judy was working in Home Affairs for the then PS for Home Affairs. She was working for the PS Home Affairs when His Excellency Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi was the Vice President. And she moved from there. I think after that, a lot has been said. So to me, Judy lived her full life. She lived a very good life, and even her passing on. Because from what my nephew was telling me, a few moments to her passing on, I was asked the date, and she said the date, and she passed on a few moments after that. So for me, Judy lived a very good life, and for us as a family, Judy was everything for us. She made sure that We were well taken care of. The work she did still influences the way we are today. For the community, Judy was a community worker. Judy was born by, as I said, by Shadrach and Rose Busiega. Shadrach Busiega, when it was a missionary station for the Friends Church, and Rose Busiega schooled at Kima when it was a mission station for the Church of God. And if you look at Judy's life, it begins from there. The virtues that she had were what she learned from her parents, who had been to Kaimosi and Kima. Judy worked for the community. She did everything. If we were to talk, we would talk. But I thank God for the life that Judy had. And I just pray she has left behind, even if they can't do everything, let them try and do some of the things that Judy did. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Agri Shivachi.
I just want to seek permission, if you don't mind, so that, because I have another function with the Speaker, Honorable, to you. So with your permission, please allow me to exit a bit early, and